Welcome to Backyard Astronomy. Welcome to Dreamworld Observatory. Tonight, well, as soon as it gets dark, we're going to try to do a little alignment, a little setup, and maybe do some shooting. Might do some planetary and may do some deep sky. Don't know. This is the first time we've been able to get out here in over 3 weeks. So we got some work we want to do with a camera. Both with planetary and deep sky, and test out a couple new programs. So tonight should be very interesting. Not going to be a real big how-to tonight. It's just I need to get a first light and I need to check out some things. We will be using default settings in both programs to record if we get to use both programs. And that will give me a heads up on where I need to start from to do my own adjustments. Just remember, when you're setting up to do either planetary or deep sky, and you get a piece of a new equipment or you try something different, you need a place to start because the defaults may not always work with your equipment. They may work with someone else's, but they may not work with yours. You may be using a piece of equipment in it that maybe somebody else may not be doing. You may be setting it up a little differently. So you got to work with it and try it out. So tonight's a whole different ball game. It's an experiment. Get away from the book study and see what we can do outside. This will be the last night that I can get out it looks like for the next 10 days. I'm getting bad weather reports for the next 10 days. So we're going to try to make good of it. So hang around. Let's see what happens. Well, I guess we're back. It's the next day. And yes, I have changed the title. Does it make any sense? That title should tell you what a night I had. It looks like what we had problems with was quite a few things. First off, couldn't get nothing to focus. Just could not seem to get anything to focus. Then when I finally give up on that and go to shooting, I start losing pictures. I start restarting the programs, things like that, all kinds of things went on. But the main thing was couldn't get it to come to a good focus. Now I'm going to show you in just a minute. I did record a lot, but I threw it away because I think I was speaking in foreign tongue. I'm not sure exactly what, so I just threw it all away. But I did save the pictures after I got inside, the raw images, and I'm going to show them to you right now. Now, looks like we're on here. What I'd like to do is, there it is right there. I just reduced it down to 50% so we can actually see this. Now, if you look at this, you can see some of the image. Problem is, it's definitely not focused. Now you see it bounce right in. I haven't figured out why it's doing that, but there's a couple of problems here. You see it right up here. It shows I did select ROI, and I selected one of these. This is here, I thought. But for some reason, it didn't record that, and it went to my full max. So I've got a huge screen instead of it being on ROI, and I was actually going to shoot a smaller screen. The gain is set way up like this at 3600, and exposures are here. The only thing I can figure is, you see how grainy this is? I think it's because the grain is so high. I don't know how the combinations here work. I do know between gain and exposure, I'm not getting the correct coverage down here. I should be getting somewhere on out to about here. You see when it whitens up, it actually comes out there. So there's definitely not something not set right here. So that's something I'll have to work on. The other thing, if you'll notice, it's definitely not in focus. Now, I shot 2,000 frames, and I only stacked, and this program here is called Fire Capture, and this is the 64-bit version. It's the beta version. If I have any more trouble with this, I'm going to go back to the standard version and go to 32-bit and see if that might be the problem. I guess it may have a bug in it because it's actually a beta program. But anyhow, the program that I actually stack these, and that's not too bad of an image, it's just grainy, is called Stacker, Auto Stacker. Auto Stacker number 3 actually, and it's also a beta. It's 64-bit too. So now I might have misspoke. This Fire Capture might not be a beta. It might be 64-bit. It's the Auto Stacker 3 that's the beta bit. I didn't have any trouble with it. And I don't think I'm having any trouble with this program either, except I got a dummy operating it. So once I fix him, maybe this thing will work out pretty good. Another thing is, I did notice something on the focus after it was all over with. I finally just give up. I went ahead and shot this, and just to get a first light image. And I went and looked at on the telescope with the full lights on instead of the red light on that there. And I noticed that on my focus mechanism, I've got an electric focuser on my telescope, and there are 2 bolts for locking a device when you put it into the hole on the focuser. And I did something last night that I hadn't done before, and that was I took out my 90-degree eyepiece and put in straight prime. Well, when I did, I had to put in the adapter. Well, I didn't notice anything except, boy, it went in just fine. I hadn't had no trouble with it. But I got to noticing when I went over there, I couldn't understand why it wouldn't focus. And I looked on one side, there's a spot on there that you can look to see just how far the focus has gone all the way into max. And it wasn't about halfway in. So I got to looking around, and there are 2 bolts that actually hold that secure. And one of the bolts didn't have a slot for it. On the piece that I put in to hold the adapter did not have a slot to ride up over the bolt. So it wasn't going all the way in. That could very well have been my whole focus problem. I don't know. I'm just hoping to reshoot this. But now I've got this in a continuous loop, so it'll be going for a while. But we're going to stop this, and I'm going to show you the image. Okay, we're now looking at, I made 3 final images out of this just to see what we're going to do. This first one is actually the output from Auto Stacker 3, and I put it in Registat 6. Well, everything is really soft. If you look at it, it is definitely not focused. The color's okay, but it's not what I really want. Then I took it and put it in Photoshop. And Photoshop actually started bringing out the moons. There's another moon over here. I just can't see it. I did a little bit more and it showed it, but you can see 2 of them right there. That seems to be the best one I could ever get. So I went back and took that picture again and went back into Registat 6, and I got this image out of it. That's a little bit better than the first. I can see a little bit more detail and a little bit more color, but it's definitely not a satisfactory image. Neither is that one. None of these are. None of these are satisfactory to me at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with the equipment. I just think it's a matter of a different camera, 2 different programs going on, and never shot with either one of them before. Another stack. Like I said, I didn't have any problem with stacking, but shooting was something atrocious. I think it was just the settings that was incorrect. High gain may have been fine, shooting fast. but I don't think it was at the right combination. So I got to work on that a little bit. Anyway, I finally give up, and I had about all I could take. But this was the final image. Like I said, I'll show you one more time. That was, I went back earlier today and redid this one in Registax versus that one. That's the Photoshop, and that's the new version. And so, anyway, that's the way I'm going to leave it for now. Okay, as you can see, that was a strange evening. A lot of problems. But my friend Murphy came by, you know, and that's what, me and him worked together on this, and that's what happened. For those young guys who are just coming on board, and some of these older fellows who Murphy is, they'll be able to explain it to you. Okay. Not to be discouraged, I guess I was a little bit upset because this was the first time I'd been out in almost 4 weeks, and it's not looking good for the next 10 days. So I was a little bit disappointed, but don't let that get you down. If you get some kind of new equipment and you go to try it and it doesn't really work, there's probably nothing wrong with the equipment. It's probably something wrong with the operator. It could be the way you've got your photo train together. It could be maybe you've got the part in backwards. It could be all kinds of little odds and ends. Maybe the piece of equipment does work correctly, but not in the function that you're trying to use it in. So, unlike in my case, I really need to look at those programs and try to figure out exactly what sort of a default, because those defaults did not work satisfactorily. So that's probably because my photo train is not matching what they're suggesting. Okay, I didn't do deep sky because that's even worse. You know, as I've always said, planetary photo is very easy compared to astro deep sky. So we're not going to try that yet. I think we're going to back off that for a day or two and solve this other problem. Anyway, I apologize for the noise we're hearing in the background here. I came out here a while ago and it's 120 degrees in here, so I turned that on, and well, it's going to stay on as long as I'm out here today. So, and that's not going to be much longer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there might be something out of this you could have learned. If not, try to learn from this. Sometimes everything don't go like you planned, but you can learn from it. I did learn a few things from it, and so I'm pretty sure that next time it'll go better. So until next time, this is Stan Bone. We're going to sign off. If you like what you saw or you enjoyed it, click below, click like for me. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Until next time, keep looking up in clear skies.